2, 1. Welcome back to another exciting episode of MiniGrinder Paints Live. I'm your host, MiniGrinder. How's everybody doing? Tonight we got Pink Monkey, Justin.
Ooh, ooh,
Ooh, ooh.
ooh, ooh.
I'm a monkey too, so don't see it as. What do you think? Hey, what do you think of the old camera? I found the old camera. Huh?
It's nice.
Much nicer.
The contrast is pretty sharp.
It's
I
much.
don't know if maybe it's just the lighting or what.
Yeah, it's definitely better than the onboard with the old laptop. So.
Yeah.
We got Brother Hammond here. I just wanted to show this guy off. So in this spontaneous live stream. So it's nice to see it. And the 3D, you get to see the kind of the full effect. Let me change the light filter a little bit on the camera here.
It has all the colors.
All the colors. I wish you could see them better. That's what I'm going to work on here for a second. I think. I like this one a little bit better. Does that look better?
Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good.
It's hard to see because of the glare.
But there's actually...
So this ended up picking up 4 different sort of shadow colors or ambient colors in the what I refer to as the quote unquote shadow space. I got okay, so let me just walk you through what's going on here because I it's hard to tell, but there's midnight blue. Well, first obviously in the darkest reaches black. But then it goes to midnight blue, and then I use like a fringe color for the shadows cast by the overhead natural light. As like a forest green. I use forest green there. And phthalo, actually they have like this clear phthalo green. I had a lot of fun using this on it.
Is that the Pathfinder one?
No, it's one of the clears. I got it last year. I'm gonna start messing with clears more. It was a lot of fun using it actually. So natural light downward, right? And then that creates this midnight blue shadows. And on the fringe of those, I painted the phthalo green, clear phthalo green, which really kind of just added to the whole effect. And then at the same time, we have like a gentle, warm light coming in from the right. Which then casts a cool contrasting purple light from the left, basically, opposing that light source, that gentle light source, which created an overall very kind of like dynamic looking miniature with lots of colors, especially for a bland color scheme, the tans and the ivories and whatnot. Well, I thought, while this guy looks done, to most people, including myself, a miniature is never done. It's never done. So I thought it'd be kind of fun just to maybe go in and see what I can do to bring this up just a little bit more. Other things, like if I were to critique my own work, right? Or if this was somebody else's or whatever, here's what I'd say to do. Kind of situation. So you down? Everybody down? Yeah. Anybody joining us?
Do it.
Maybe. Randomly? Is anybody randomly joining us? Oh no, and they're gone. They were watching for 5 seconds and they're gone. It's okay.
This is MiniGrinder Paints nights. After hours.
After hours, that's right. So first off, right, let's get in on this guy, because why not see it? Why not see it for really?
Gosh, I mean, I'm going to play devil's advocate with you, man.
Please.
I have a hard time seeing what more you could do to this guy. I mean, it's just like, It's like to ask yourself this question of, at what point do you just have to tell yourself this thing is done?
Stop.
Because this thing,
Put it down.
it looks so freaking good, man. It actually has this really beautiful Games Workshop British quality.
Whoa.
I don't know, like I feel like this is something I would see walking into a game store, as one of the something you would see on the cover for a Games Workshop, Warhammer type of box.
I like this sort of this dichotomy between these two sides. So over here you have more of the green tones in the shadows, and over here you have like purple to green to, you know what I mean? It's really neat. Anyways, okay, so yeah, what more could I do? Well, first off, the edge of this book looks like trash to me. So let's
So
start there.
where are you pulling that from, man?
Look
I
at
thought it was
it.
pretty
Look at
good.
it. You can see. You can see. It's like not. You'll see.
Okay, all right.
Golden blonde. And then
I
you get
know
a
it.
good pick out.
I,
Get just loading a 3-0 detailer straight. And you get a big kick out of me using the golden blonde all the time.
I was about to say, I know what to buy you for Christmas, just like a lifetime supply of Golden Blonde.
I wonder if I can get this thing. I'm a perfectionist, so that's why we're doing this. It's healthy. It's healthy for me to do this. Let me try to get this thing focused better, because is that better or worse?
You're looking pretty good.
Okay, better or worse? Oh God, that's better. There we are. Oh yes, yes. Wonderful now. Now that's wonderful. Mmm. Tastes like tastes like tastes like art.
Tastes like dirt.
Tastes like art. Tastes like art. All right. Oh man, the contrast on this camera, man. You can see my blemishes. All right,
Uh,
get down to it. Taking the excess off. Just
yeah,
tapping.
man. It's so good.
Just one
So
little
much.
thing.
Just so good.
It's much nicer now, isn't it? Isn't it much
I
nicer?
mean, it's like, it's all nice. It's all so good.
Another thing that I'd like is I'd like for the lines, the linen lines up here to be. Could you? I mean, it's barely noticeable on the hood. What do they call
I
that?
see. Uh, hmm, needle. I don't know. I'm trying to.
Cow.
Cal. Yeah, that's it.
Cow. I'd like them to be a little bit more pronounced. I guess it's okay. Maybe I could actually
Hmm.
get in there with like brighter highlight than what I got. Hmm.
Like I still look at some of these colors. I'm like, man, like I just want to know what was going through your head in a good way, right? Because like your color composition choices here are really great. The
Well,
greens,
having such
the
muted
greens particularly.
tones, having such muted tones actually benefited me.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they're easier to reflect light. So I'm just going back with that golden blonde right there and adding a little bit more on that cuff.
right. Um,
You know, golden blonde, man. It's like my favorite little kind of highlighter. Going for the chin.
Man,
Just a little bit. Going for the buckles.
so right where your paintbrush was, just a little south of that. When I was talking about this to you outside the video chat, those folds right below the buckle, above the belt, like in that slight V formation. Yeah, that son of a bitch. I had a really hard time getting the shadow color to get between those two folds. Like, it's so thick.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a rough area to work on. Up here too.
Yeah, I'm all of that is gonna be a pain in the butt because it's just such a tight and highly detailed corner,
Mm-hmm. So basically, I'm just going to be doing a bunch of highlighting. That's typically the thing that happens when that's where I don't know. I'm often fighting the highlight. You know, like
What do you mean?
I'm afraid of making it too bright, right? Because it's so easy to do. But you have to really you know, you have to just dot it. You just have to just slowly build up to that highlight in some kind of way.
I guess here's an interesting question for you.
You don't want it
I
to
don't.
dominate, you know what I mean? So it's easy to basically
Yeah.
get heavy-handed with highlights.
Do you feel like you've seen like cloyingly over bright miniatures? Because I feel like more often than not, I will see um, muted darker miniatures. I definitely fall in that category. More often than not, I'll see cloyingly bright miniatures.
Yeah, but once you see bright miniatures for the first time, like at a convention or whatever, then you're like, oh,
Like in a bad way.
kinda.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I
Like,
see where I've missed my mark. That's for me. That's what it was like. Seeing
how do you?
just vibrant, just super, super, and I was on my way there. I was going that way, but once I saw it in person, then I was like, oh, this is. I need to up that, and then I spent the next 2 years upping that, and I'm still upping it. So why not just skip straight to the uppy part? But I think the
Like I
truth
said,
I think the truth of the matter is that you really have to learn how to build up to it because you really have to sort of creep up on that highlight in some fashion.
absolutely. Um, yeah, I get what you're saying. I guess like the way the image just kind of put in my brain would be like a pyramid. The height of the pyramid can only really be as tall as the width of the base. And so if the base is the shadow, like you really need to, as you say, build up the mid-tone and the shadows. I forgot what word we were using on a private conversation. The ultra mid-tone or whatever.
Whatever. I don't know. I'm just make shit up.
Yeah, but yeah, you need to have that foundation, everything flushed out, so that way you can have the highest amount of highlight you can get in there, right?
Yeah. Kinda. Yeah. Hmm.
I'm I'm captivated. I'm legitimately captivated by the green you have in here.
I love it too. I love
It's
painting
such
like this. It's a lot of fun.
and I see what you're saying is like that's like your shadow transition color.
Right. Yeah. It's like I'm getting. I'm liking the idea of transitioning from shadow to light space using like some kind of crazy color in between. And in
I
this
guess
case,
that
it's
would
really
be.
nice because you really have all the colors represented here in this piece. It really does have all the colors.
I still don't know how you did it, to be honest with you.
I mean, I did a lot of it on camera.
I know. I sat there and I watched it. What I do find remarkable, like I said, I was working on this venture too myself, and I watched you do this, and I saw that you put the Pathfinder brown color on here or whatever that was, Um,
Mwangi.
to the point, yeah, Wongi, Matogi, whatever. To the point where actually I don't even see it that much here anymore. To be honest.
Oh yeah, it's in there somewhere though.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I'm sure like you'd have to rotate the miniature to kind of find it, but like it kind of helped build up to those purples, to those ochres, and to the greens and stuff like that.
Yeah,
God, oh, it's so good. Jeez,
just little pieces, just little pieces of. Look here on this hand. Look here on this hand. This hand is needing it. It's needing it bad.
I like you. Did you put like a black liner or outline around that wrist and that hand against that book?
Yeah, wherever you can to sort of increase that contrast. You know,
Yeah,
I might get in a little bit of that tonight too.
just like doing some
I need to
line
start
work.
toying around with the idea of maybe even, at least I'm thinking about toying around with the idea of thinking about mixing
Yeah,
inks in with my black
mixing what?
ink as a way to try
Oh,
to punch in even more contrast into those spaces. But what I don't like about it is that it's glossy.
I got you. Now, would
Mhm.
a matte sealant kind of take care of that?
Um, I don't know. Like I said, I'm thinking about toying around with it.
So I know I would I've been playing around with some different liners, like the true liner stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it actually comes out pretty nice. Like I feel like it definitely lays easier and it's a bit smoother. I've heard that inks can be kind of temperamental, especially
Yeah.
in how they dry.
Whoa. Careful there, kiddo. Careful there, Chemo Sabe. Just gotta grease up that fresh brush so I can wipe
I've
away the
heard that
mistake.
I've heard that with inks, because it is ink, they get reactivated when you put, water or any type of fluid on top of them.
Oh.
So I could be wrong, maybe misinformation.
Well, here's
Uh,
if anything, guys. Here's proof that you don't necessarily need inks to paint a really nice miniature. You don't need wet
yeah,
pellets. You don't need airbrushes. You don't need anything but a good old fashioned brush, preferably sable. I used to
are
be one
you
of these guys where it's like, brush is a brush is a brush. I'm just buying the cheapest crap I can, and I would get away with doing pretty good work with cheap crap. But dear God, once I slipped into a nice sable brush, I was like, oh,
what
I'm an
what what
idiot. Who doesn't like
what br-
change sometimes?
what brush are you rocking right now?
The Da Vinci Maestro 30. Another artist,
Nice.
mini painting studio guy. He turned me on to it. He's right. I'd also like to try out the Raphaels.
I think I let you use some of mine when we met up in person, before COVID.
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of them. I've been taking care of them, and they've lasted me until a good point.
Oh yeah, I was gonna do that hand. I knew I was gonna get onto something. I got sidetracked. That's the thing. It's easy to find. It's easy to find little pieces to get sidetracked on. You know, get some of this. I just got some flow improver out now because I don't want to get too heavy-handed with this first go on the hand. So whenever
Right.
I'm highlighting the hand like this or a skin, I, I kind of dilute the highlight color first.
Yeah.
But then you want to kind of aim for knuckles. Maybe.
Your control right now is really pretty impressive because I feel like I'd be blobbing the shit out of it right now.
I did blob the shit up. I feel like I blobbed the shit up. Right here. I'm just gonna massage it with a wet brush. There we go. You just need a little bit of a oomph right there. I think we're gonna get a little bit more too. Oh, good. You can see what I'm doing over there.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't planned, folks. Just a nip right here. Highlighting's a hell of a thing. You know, I did tell you that one time. That I always tell you that it's all in the highlight, right? Everything, all of it,
Right.
all
Right.
techniques. At the end of the day, it's all in the highlight. When you are doing OSL, it's how you and then it's in the highlight. No matter what kind of even if you're doing shadows, it's in the highlight. How you
Right.
highlight them,
Right.
right?
Right.
Non-metal metal. It's how you highlight it. It's how you transition from midtones to highlights. Materials. It's how you transition from midtones to highlights. It's all in the highlight. All the
Well,
texture in this is done in the highlights.
you
The
can even just
the metal, I made that look more metal in the highlight.
distill that argument down further to it's all about lighting.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. At the point in time when you realize that natural light is OSL, right? Like that's natural light is OSL. Everybody, just just throw that out there. When you paint in natural light, you are painting in OSL, where light is shining down.
Or shining in any direction. Really, where
So
the sun is.
And everybody's surprised when I tell them that when you're painting a passive light source, you want to kind of sandwich your midtones in between the the color of the light and the shadows it casts. And they're like, "Whoa!" But honestly, that's how we paint, anyways. That's how everybody paints. They paint dark color, right? The
I tell you
midtone and
what,
then highlight. It's always that way. But for some reason, it's
drop that truth bomb again for some of those in the cheap seats up at the top of the stadium.
when you're what the the
The
natural light is OSL. That's
the sandwich metaphor.
Oh yeah, sandwiching the highlight and sandwiching the midtone with the highlight and the shadow. That's what you're doing. And then so you can do whatever you want in the shadow space, and you can do whatever you want in the highlight, and that sort of you change the color of the light, change everything. You can do, you know what I mean?
Right.
But at the end of the day, highlighting, it's all about the highlight. It's how you highlight. Right. All of that comes out. All that information is stored in the highlight. I feel, and everything else is just leading up to that.
Right. Absolutely.
That's how I feel. I feel pretty strongly about it. I guess. As strong as one could feel about it.
I just this guy might be close to my favorite, right next to your chromatic dwarf. In some ways, he actually has this chromaticism to him, really.
He does too, yeah. Once I did that dwarf is what led me here.
Right. It was a good challenge, I guess, for you, or it kind of
Yeah, it
Or,
also got me to see how fun it is to to explore with more colors in a piece, you know.
right,
So
right. Absolutely. Gosh, there is there is something to be said though about the way you perceive your color composition in theory here, because even if I had your hands and your technical mastery in how you lay the paint and then put it down, like
you
I
really,
still could never. I
I
still
don't know
would
how to
never.
respond to stuff like this because I don't expect such niceties.
Well, no, I mean, it's the truth
Seriously.
though, because um,
I mean,
we all,
I'm just a paint monkey trying to figure it out too, you know. I don't know about
well, so
mastery. I'm getting there. I'm still working on it. It's a whip, dude.
right. So but we all have our wheelhouse, right? And the things that we excel at and things that we're good at,
Yeah.
the things that our mind is able to think three dimensionally on.
Mhm.
I would have never ever thought about using green as my shadow, or just having a shadow transition, let alone making it a completely different color that I was using
Well,
somewhere else.
I kind of didn't either, to be quite honest. What I
Yeah,
saw was I have a really good sense of color. I'm able to distinguish colors really easily, right? In things. And when the that green ochre, which is that tan color, which is more like yellow, when it
yeah,
mixed in with the midnight blue, I got a little bit of that green coming out, right? And I noticed it,
right,
and then I was like,
right,
oh, and right, and then
right,
I said, let's exploit that, and then it made sense to me. I started thinking about it more. I'm like, oh, and that's what brought me to that idea of the fringe color, right? So
right.
it's
It's
not
kind of like
it was my observational ability, and that's it's what I came equipped with. It's not anything super special.
if you dare to break it down this way, you can almost perceive OSL, light, paint theory, however, whatever word you want to use, in two different domains. What happens in the light and what happens in the shadows. You
Mm,
highlight the shadows, and even theoretically, what you're doing is you can even midtone the shadows. Like what you're saying, like this green becomes the midtone that transitions away from the shadow or the highlights, moving towards the midtone of the light itself, of what happens in the light color
I'm
composition.
totally gonna play with it a lot more. Totally, I'm gonna start doing. Honestly, I've screwed myself because now I got to do textures all the time. Also, by the way, I gotta. I'm totally screwed, guys. So here's the thing. There's this like drive to get better and better and better and better. And at some point in time, you're just screwing yourself. You'll
Just
never be able
because,
to enjoy just painting a miniature. You'll never be able to do it because you're like, well, I could paint it like that, but then, well, I could actually.
right.
Yeah, and
You know what?
I'm no waffle. I can't bust out 800 super awesome painted miniatures in a day. That guy's amazing.
Yeah,
He's a machine.
maybe if you're a
Maybe at some
hairdresser.
point in time, back in the day, I could grind out miniatures like that, but they were nowhere near that level. You know?
Maybe you just gotta find a gaming group where you're the DM. You're like, I only got 4 hours to spend on this, so fuck it.
Yeah. Mm, this is just a 5-0 liner. I'm not using it like a liner though right now. I'm using it like a detailer because it's a nice little tip. But that was one of the first things that I taught myself when I got into commission painting was
Yeah,
to not use my detailer brush for every single operation. So like,
How do you mean?
I was using detailers for liners. I was using detailers for dry brushing, and I know a lot of people do that. So don't act like you don't. It's not healthy for your detailer to dry brush with it. It's just not.
Well, yeah, for sure.
But like back in the day, I mean, I just used whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I'm definitely at least 15 years behind you in technique and mastery.
Well,
Um,
I don't think so.
However, I think it's fair to say though, when I first started, I remember I bought my first paint kit. I remember it very fondly. It was the like Lord of the Rings elves or something like that, and it comes with the paint guide, the startup minis, startup paints, and the brush. Talk about dry brushing. I dry brushed the shit out of that thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I completely ruined the brush, but I never knew that it was ruined because what the hell do I know?
That's what happens to brushes.
Right, yeah, it's just like, okay, whatever, And if they were frayed as hell, like, didn't make a point,
Yeah. Speaking of frayed as hell, check out. So those frays are all painted on. So it's painted to look. It's hard to tell, especially if I do it like that. It's hard to tell, but you can tell more if I. There we go. You see it's painted those on the bottom of the burlap robe.
That looks really good.
Painted on, and actually, some of these are painted on too, but they're different. That's another thing that I did to try to like create the idea that this is more of a canvas or something like that, or some like super thin leather or something,
Right.
So that has different kinds of fray than that. And at some point in time, I actually had small little frays on this guy, but I got rid of them, and I was like, oh, I'll get back to it. I wonder if I should do that too, because it looked really good.
I think he's
It's tempting. I mean, it's tempting.
so. I gotta go back to this green color. Man. I know. I'm certified. It's just like every time you rotate this damn mini, like it's just the green.
It's drawing you in.
It is. It's like it's so goddamn translucent, and it plays with the light. Like it actually changes as you rotate the mini out, and it's very fourth dimensional. It's like wrinkling my brain.
Fourth dimensional. Damn, that's pretty good. That's a good compliment.
Yeah, man.
It's a good thing you're around, man, because otherwise I'd feel pretty crappy about myself.
Oh man, you definitely do not feel crappy about yourself.
Well, whatever. I've been trying to do that for a while. It's not working.
Yeah, I know. It's tough for all of us.
Yeah.
Except for the narcissists.
Right, yeah. Damn, if only I was a narcissist.
Yeah. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
I still would like to
It's
see
getting
you
there.
do it. I think it'd be fun for it to see you do like an all shadow guy that's basically just like
all shadows.
all shadows, yeah.
All of them. With all the colors.
I don't know if it would be boring for you, if you feel like it would be more of a challenge or if it would just be too straightforward,
I don't know. There's this thing about how do you paint natural color and shadow also though. I still got plenty of time or plenty of things to explore in that realm. But it's very similar to how I said before, it's what's dominating. So what's the color of the shadow, right? What's the shadow space? That's what you would highlight it in. So that's a highlight of the shadow. And then you use the shadow color for the shadows. But you still have the midtones in there somewhere. But the midtones should be heavily dominated by the shadow color. basically.
And on top of that, you're taking a lot of dark colors and then making it bright and vibrant too. You know.
Yeah. See that toe?
Oh man, you're gonna nail it.
I don't know about that.
Woo.
The thing is that it's ugly.
I mean, he's a barefoot poor monk.
Yeah, but one of the toes is like it's like gray. You gotta cut that fucker off.
Jeez.
I'm just going in with some midnight blue here. Yeah, it's when is the miniature done? That's a little bit better. So now I'm gonna go in and clean that up just a bit. There's one more spot. You can see that spot. Can you see that spot? It's right there. It's right there. Eh, just massage it. I had to fix these feet, man, because they're kind of fugly. Kind of.
I mean, I don't think he practices good podiatry healthcare, man.
My water bottle.
Uh,
Mm-mm-mm. Whoop. Oh, spilled a little raspy. A little horse. Okay.
well,
See that other foot? See how ugly that other foot is?
okay. I mean, look, I could
Come
do
on,
much
man.
better. No, you're not wrong. Like it could be better, but I could be.
Like, could be?
I would not be able to do much better. So I'm not good to throw stones.
I have this issue, right, where like when I first started painting miniatures, the paint job would get worse and worse and worse the closer it got to the base. Because at that point in time, I just didn't care anymore or something. Or like I was like, done.
I hear you. I feel like I do tend to neglect boots and even lower parts of the legs because I'm just like, it's all shadowed. But then realistically, I should be highlighting those shadows, you know?
Right. It's too bright. Breathy, breathy, breathy. Everybody breathe.
Yeah, it's a fucker.
Going back for the old midnight blue. This tote got away
Oh
from me.
no. You're a maniac.
What do you mean?
How are you able to get that color in there?
What do you mean?
That's like a tight space, man.
This side still looks a little.
I mean, you know, the infamous words of a porn star, it's so tight.
It's just, there's something wrong with you. It's pretty tight down there.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
That was the rest. That was the rest of the quote.
well, there's you gotta. Same thing I did before. I'm getting in on these knuckles here. Knuckles of the feet, not the hand this time. And this time it's not.
Right.
It's not the highlight color. It's rosy shadow is what I'm using. Good old rosy shadow.
It actually is it's a pretty bright shadow overall, I think.
Yeah, it looks bright. The thing is that like, you know, with these colors, it's really about what color it's next to,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Contrast.
Miniature painting.
Yeah.
Still, see that's looking a little crappy again. I don't like that last little bit. Just gonna wipe that off with a wet brush here. Just bring it down, take it down a notch. Just take it down a notch. But yeah, it's more about like what color it's next to than it is anything else.
Sure.
Because that color can look extremely dark next to something else, right? And that's the whole thing with highlighting.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Kind of a thin glaze, light glaze. I'm just trying to marry all that stuff together there a little bit. I'm going to get out the Asmodeus red. And then, while it's still wet there, I'm just going to go along the fringe. And,
Oh, yeah.
I still don't like them toes. Gotta fight them. Gotta fight them. Do whatever you can.
Yeah.
So here we go again with a light glaze. I'm gonna go right on them toes.
What are you glazing with? The
The
rosy
Asmodeus
shadow or
red.
something? Asmodeus red.
Yeah. I'm gonna get it all on there that time. Just trying to take it all down a notch. I'm wrestling these feet. They're bothering me. They bother me. Blech. Blech. Alright. Glasses are coming off.
Nearsighted or farsighted?
Nearsighted. So I'm like made for this, right?
Oh yeah.
I find it so much easier to focus without them on.
Do you feel like though that it helps with your fatigue, like your eye fatigue?
Probably. That big toe is a little flat. Yeah, it's totally easier to focus. Probably means I have to go get a new prescription. Probably. I think we had that conversation the other night. As you get older or whatever, some certain eye, like people like have eyes like mine, they have to get their prescription keeps on getting better and better and better at this stage of their life.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, until it starts going the other way. For whatever reason. I don't know. I can't remember the reason. I mean, maybe he just has jacked up toes, you know?
Yeah. He's a little inbred.
Maybe.
You know what they say about incest? It's,
I don't, no, I don't. Please tell us, Justin.
it's fun for the whole family.
Yeah.
Uh,
I had a friend who was dating a second cousin. They were both grown up and they
oh,
weren't going to have any kids, so they were like, well, screw it.
please tell me it was more of like a happenstance, like they met on eHarmony, they banged on the third date, and then they found out
No,
later.
no family reunion.
Jesus. Oh, bad. Oh,
Right.
that's bad.
It's, I mean, it was like second or third cousin. Maybe it was third cousin. So, yeah.
Okay, hold
Right.
on. All right, this paint thing is now. I gotta look at this. What is a third cousin? Hey, you know what? What is a second cousin?
What is a second cousin? Yo, because now you're
Oh,
wondering if
okay.
it's okay.
No, No, not at all. Okay.
I think it's time to check to see if anybody's watching this nonsense.
Or
Oh,
someone can help.
no, nobody's watching. It's the middle of fucking
Show
night.
some.
Nobody's watching. Of
I
course,
was,
nobody's
I
watching.
was hoping someone could show me what a second cousin is.
This is like gold. This is like streaming gold, people.
Streaming gold.
Yeah, this feet are. That's better. That foot's better. I still don't like it.
Okay, so a second cousin. It'd be your great grandparent. And so you have your
What?
parent. Okay, hold on. You have you, right? You are you. And then there's your parent. And then there is your parent's parent, your grandparent, right?
Yeah.
And then there is your grandparents' siblings. So they would be considered your great aunt or uncle. So, like, if your grandma or your grandfather had a sibling, and then they had a child, and then they had another child,
Hmm.
that would be your second cousin. So so basically your great grandparent would be the parent to your direct grandparent, and then also to your great aunt or uncle, who who would go and have a child, and then that child would have another child, and that would be your second cousin. That is a little too close to me, because I feel like no, but listen to me, like I feel like it's somewhat reasonable that in life in life, especially early on, there's a potentiality that we would know who our great grandparent, at least for the first 3 to 6 years of our life, if you can
Yeah.
remember it. And then I feel like there's even a higher potentiality that you would know your great aunt or uncle. Like, you go over to your grandma's house for Christmas, and then there is their sibling there.
Sure.
I've met my great aunt or uncle a couple times, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So then really, like, these people. That great aunt or uncle has a grandchild which you are now banging. Fuck that.
Well, I think that's the.
That's bad. That's way bad.
I never said I condoned it or whatever. I didn't say that anything about that. Honestly, I didn't judge him either. It's just what he was. It was his choice.
I
That's
guess
kind of how I see it.
I'm not attacking you at all, but I think I feel like my comfort level to be in a relationship with someone in my family would have to at least be at the great grandparent tree. Would be
don't even know it.
Right, exactly, because I don't know who my great grandparent is, or my great granduncle,
You
or
never
my
know.
first cousin. Yeah, basically that would boil down to being my third cousin.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know that I wouldn't even know that line in that tree.
Hmm. So I'm just hitting this skin with a little bit of that, like a super light glaze of Cavalier Orange. Just to try to get those colors to sort of go together a little bit. Still don't like them toes. But what you gonna do? I think it's gonna have to be what it's gonna be. I mean, okay, so take it back. Take it all back.
I'm gonna wrap up this cousin conversation by one or two more factoids.
Okay, let's hear it.
Apparently, it is illegal in every state to marry your second cousin.
Wow,
including
every state.
Yeah, man. And the associated
That's
genetic
just some
risk.
religious dogma, though, right?
The associated genetic risk is almost as small as it would be between two unrelated individuals.
Hmm.
So it's more of just a stigma. But here's the crazy part: marriage between first cousins, however, is legal in about 25 states. My home state of Maryland, you can marry your first cousin. That is not an invitation to my cousins if you're listening. Oh, Ohio is not on that list though. We have
I wish we
Alabama.
had.
No
We
shot.
we don't even have common law in Ohio.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Alabama,
PJ and I would be
Alaska,
common law.
Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, DC, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Illinois,
Hawaii.
Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Oregon, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Utah, Vermont,
Jeez.
Virginia, West Virginia, and Wisconsin.
Swissconsin.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Swissconsin. That's what I call it.
Wisconsin.
Swissconsin.
Yeah. Yeah, that means looking good.
Hmm?
I was just jumping back out of that rabbit hole. That
Yeah, you got lost, dude.
I'm jumping back out of that second cousin glory hole. Okay.
Oh, it's all kind of degenerates on this show. You know, I think you and TJ get along just fine from Humans to Miniatures. He's a kind of
Oh, really?
degenerate you'd enjoy. So you know about painting nails, right? Fingernails and stuff.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's just a dot somewhere.
What? Oh my gosh! Are you giving him? Well, I guess you're not like giving him like
Oh, like a
makeup,
manicure, dude.
right? God,
It's getting there.
what color did you use for the
Golden
nails?
blonde.
I know. In all honesty, I'm actually kind of surprised because I thought that golden blonde would contrast with the golden blonde highlights you have with the knuckles.
Meh, it's close enough. I mean, it's so goddamn small. Some super awesome paint guy might do that probably, but I'm only subpar super awesome paint guy.
Do not say that at all. Because if you're subpar, then there's no hope for me.
That's not true.
Fact,
I think here's my thing. I think everybody's capable of this. The only difference between me and a lot of other people is I believe that I'm capable of it, and they don't. Well, that's the only difference, right? That's the only difference. There's no other difference. We're all human beings.
Well,
The most adaptable creature on this planet. And at the point in time when you throw the goddamn towel in, there's no hope for you, okay?
Yep.
All right?
Yeah.
That's just all there is to it.
Well, and don't sell yourself short either. You put a lot of man hours.
I can't help.
You put a lot of man hours of practice into this too.
I get. Don't remind me.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot worse things you could be sinking your time into.
Oh, sure, yeah. Like college basketball.
Oh, you offended the key demographic. Though.
Oh yeah, or Warhammer 40K.
Oh God.
Oh, there goes the unsubscribes. There they come. Here they come.
Great.
No, honestly, I'm sure it's a great game and all, but I have this little thing where I don't want to give Games Workshop any of my money whatsoever.
Because they sell plastic crack.
At exorbitant prices. That's my major issue. And I don't I'm sorry, I don't I'm a responsible consumer. I try to be anyways. And I just don't buy into things that are ridiculously priced.
It is a little ridiculously priced.
They're ridiculously priced. It doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense. I went because they're Crystal Rush died at Adepticon and got replaced by the Golden Demon, right? Which is Games
Mhm.
Workshop thing. And I went searching for Peace. Okay, sure, we'll throw something in there, right? Well, I went searching for a piece. It's like, oh, check out some of their Lord of the Rings pieces. That looks fun, you know.
Yeah.
Seriously, it was like a couple miniatures, and it was $30, and they were
Yeah.
plastic.
Yeah.
What? No.
Reaper
Uh-uh.
has a much better value. Like you could buy a lot more miniatures for that price.
Yeah, and some would argue that the sculpts are not as great or whatever, but it's not. I'm not buying the sculpts. I'm buying the sculptor, and I like the sculptors. Okay, and I like what they do. I like their. For me, it's kind of like this is a Bobby Jack. I believe this is Bobby Jackson. Pretty sure this is Bobby. I like painting his stuff. I like his. Especially ever since he started getting into the digital. I think he does most of his stuff digital now. I don't know. Weeby. I like Weebies. I like painting really Guthrie dragons.
Yeah, and we had this conversation, however many days ago, that I kind of firmly believe that there's going to be a point at which there's going to be a point at which I'm going to be almost transitioning completely over to just resin printing my miniatures, with the exception of hand picking out some store bought miniatures.
Sure, like things that you would like to collect.
Right, exactly.
And those will never die. Pewter miniatures and that stuff, well, they'll never die because they're going to be seen as the collectibles.
Right, exactly. But I hate to say it, but I feel like just the ease, the cost, and the pure fact that you can print them out as many goddamn times as you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I see a lot of people getting into it because of that reason, for those same reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, and also, if there's anyone out there in the greater Ohio region who isn't afraid of COVID right now and wants to help me figure out how to fix my Ender 3 printer because it's taking a turn for the worse.
You leave a comment, I guess.
Please, God help me. I so need help.
I gotta be careful here because I don't want this thing to end up looking this cuff to end up looking metallic, right? It's easy to let your highlights get away from you and get too shiny.
Right.
Right? And so you got to be careful, especially with more fabric kind of stuff where it kind of absorbs the light a little bit more, In this episode, I barely do anything.
No, I mean, I think kind of like
it already looks better.
I feel like this episode is really about the question I asked at the beginning. Is like, when do you feel like it's done, or when do you kind of have that inner voice in the back of your head and say, you know what, just walk away? Because I think that's a really important skill to have sometimes.
Right now, I've trapped you on a stream to force myself to keep.
There's nothing wrong with that.
What I'm saying is, at some point in time, you should do that. You should do that. You should push yourself. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And to your credit, I mean, you found legitimate things like, yeah, okay, that 1 foot was a little wonky.
It's
I
still,
know, I
this foot is
know,
still wonky. God damn it. Bringing
I
up the
know that
foots.
I know that you're capable of better. I'm not, but I know you are.
Well, it's a little, okay, so it's a little muddy there. Not gonna lie. But, um, part of that is kind of like mixing in the sculpt with the basing, so I don't know if that sort of muddied it up down there. So right now I'm just putting some midnight blue around there to try to kind of like encase it a little bit.
Make it pop a bit more.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. And I also have to sort of feed that. Looking pretty good.
I mean,
This is one of my favorite pieces too that I've done in a long time. Well, mainly, and it's the exploration into the textures that I'm having a lot of fun with.
the textures and the colors. I know you're gonna slap the ever
Just because
living
I'm working
shit
on
out.
texture doesn't mean I'm not going to stop working on colors.
Right. I know that you'll slap the ever living shit out of me if I keep talking about the green on this miniature, but it still keeps blowing me away. I'm just watching you. It's like I'm watching QVC, watching the diamond ring turn around on this turntable, just like the diamond sparkling at me. But that green just kind of keeps like as you shift it, like it moves. Like
Uh-huh.
it's like it's like Mona Lisa's eyes.
Yeah, sure. It's because of it's like on this side. If you look at it here, like this side, and look at the purple, right? And the purple and the
Right.
orange.
Yeah, yeah. It's so dynamic.
Right. A lot of fun. That's the thing. Somebody's like, uh, you know, when people say that you can't paint things like they are in reality because as you turn around, it's not going to look the same. Like non-metal metal and that. And honestly,
Right.
I just don't feel that way. I kind of feel like obviously it's not going to be exactly like metal, and it's going to be noticeable that something's up, right? But if you do something, if you play by the rules, uh, I think you can get away with a whole hell of a lot. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like what you're saying is true. Like it's possible. I think it's also difficult as hell.
Mm, yeah,
So it's possible. It's an advanced skill.
you have to be conscientious of everything in your painting. It's about tapping into that light source. In that case,
Right.
it's about
Right.
feeling it out. You know. Yeah. Still trying to fix these feet over here. Give us some more. Midnight blue. Just trying to make sure there's enough paint on the brush.
Looking so good.
This foot, sometimes you just gotta give up and start over a little bit. So that's kind of what I'm gonna do here. I don't like how red that is right there. It looks really muddy, and I'm just gonna try to bridge all that together with the midnight blue. This side needs a little bit more midnight blue too. I mean, you're never gonna notice any of that stuff, but whatever.
I mean, in all honesty, if you took this to a competition, right? Do you feel like anyone's going to really bust your balls on the stuff that you're fixing right now?
It depends who looks at it, you know.
I
Depends who picks it
guess.
up, you know. And sometimes the people, you know, you're getting judged by your peers and whatnot in those competitions, and um, you know, I don't know. People are not infallible. I think that's the word.
Yeah.
You know, they're not. I don't know. People are. What's the word I'm trying to say? Most
Petty.
like I don't know. Sometimes if they know who they're judging, that might influence how they judge. Also,
Right. Yeah. It's like if some rando walked in and they're like, "Oh wow, this is really great. I don't know
maybe
you,
they
but you do good
maybe they
work."
expect more of you, or maybe they you know, or maybe they're intimidated by. There's some reason why they're you know it works fine for if you know they don't know you, but if they know you, then I don't know. I kind of feel
Right.
like that's influences their judgments too.
They have expectations.
Right? Yeah, it's already built in. There's no way to escape it. You can't escape it. I don't fault them for it, but you know.
I mean, I see your point. I think that I kind of lost what I was about to say.
Oh no, what are we gonna do? Because you got to keep it alive. Because nobody cares when I'm just. If it was just me talking, we'd have
I mean,
twice the
I
number
have.
of viewers. Oh, hey, we got one viewer! Yay! Hello, viewer. Welcome to the late night ramblings. You missed the topics on incest. Maybe you're
Yeah.
just maybe you're coming back. Maybe the same viewer that we had before.
I mean, I felt like it's a very good line you need to draw in the sand upon which cousin or what second, third, fourth. Where do you draw the line?
Really, no, I didn't mean to break back into that conversation.
I mean, it's. I think it's like it's up there with drafting
I
or
don't think that would ever happen, honestly.
well, I mean, like I think it's an important. It's like I said, it's like up there with drafting a will, or it's just something you gotta do. You gotta draw that line. You gotta do the math.
I mean, okay, so what if both parties are okay? So no, I don't.
Yes, I did
No,
it.
no, we're talking. This is a miniature painting show. We are miniature painting.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't want to offend anybody.
that's fair. That's fair.
Mm.
Um,
Where do I draw the? Not knowingly would I engage in incest.
I feel like then that you're comfortable around the third cousin mark, like me. Because then you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't know them.
If we were both fixed, you know,
Oh
what's that? How's that change? Does that change anything?
no, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Lies.
Lies.
You know, it's hard to say what you'd do, especially as being a guy, when you don't think with your head in certain circumstances.
I
So,
mean,
just being
yeah,
honest here.
yeah. No, you're not wrong. I've never had a friend who you know admitted this.
He's still with us, or she. They haven't left yet.
It,
Uh,
it might be my cousin. She found out.
right.
Maryland apparently has very lax laws.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Seems
okay,
like
let's
art.
walk away from that as far as I can.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm still working on this janky foot here.
it looks really pale. If that makes any sense.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely, it should. I mean, I'm gonna have to. I had to diet down, and right now I'm just uh, loading up the saturation, so I'm getting the rosy shadow in there,
right.
right? And the other thing is that I'm trying to clean it up, so for me it's more about, here's the real problem. I can't get into the fifth toe. The fifth toe and
So
the so it looks like he's a little cut a little short. Also, it still looks like crap.
I don't mean to bring up the incest card again, but that is a
Maybe
horrible term, okay?
that's six toes, dude. It's different. Wait,
Well,
what'd you say?
I mean, plus or minus one toe. I think that's the standard. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like, it's such a small. For some reason, the toes don't seem. It seems weird, right? Because the fingers are so long. The toes are stubby as hell.
Yeah, little stubby
It,
toes.
that does seem like
Honestly, I think it's like I think they're not stubby. I think the toe starts here. All right.
why? Yeah,
So
but
maybe they're
like,
kind of long, and I'm not painting them long enough. But
I mean, when you look at the hands, the fingers are thick, and they have big, deep crevices in between them that differentiate them.
maybe Bobby's a lot like me, and when he gets down to the feet, he's just like, eh. Maybe it's a factor of the casting. I don't
Sure.
know. I'm not trying to decide why they're kind of screwy, but I'm just trying to compensate the best I can to get them to look not super jank. Not that you're not gonna be looking at the feet. You're gonna be like, for me, I'm like, oh, look at those horrible feet. So if you're just joining us, we are basically painting a miniature that's already finished. Quote unquote finished.
Well, with the lesson of, at what point do you feel like, oh, where is the critical eye for improvement, and where is the line drawn for just saying it's done?
Yeah,
It's an exercise in restraint
never.
and patience. Restraint and patience.
Restraint. Restrain me.
Yeah.
I'm unhinged. You know what my one of my math professors he called me. He said that I was a wild human.
Jeez. I feel like there
You're
are
a wild human. Not as in like wild and crazy guy. No, he meant out in the woods wild. I am a wild man.
I feel like
Quite
there's only
reserved wild man, I just want to point out, actually. I'm quite reserved. Well tamed.
I feel like there is sometimes we will get like an adjective thrown at us about who we are or our personality. I think we all have had once or twice in our life that just throws a curveball on us. One time I had someone call me uh, ethereal.
Whoa.
I didn't have to take that. I mean, it's obviously, I think it's a compliment.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
The theory is a pretty good compliment.
Yeah.
Ah, that's crazy. I don't. What do they? What exactly makes you ethereal in their eyes?
I don't know. I never didn't get around the kind of following up on that. But so
I
the
mean, that's
Google,
something to follow up on, though.
yeah, I mean, I was back in high school, so
Oh,
the opportunity lost.
gone.
But the Google definition is extremely delicate and light in a way that seems too perfect for this world.
Whoa.
Like
So you definitely looked that up and have thought about that.
yeah, this is shit that keeps me awake. Synonyms: delicate, exquisite, dainty. Like, I'm a man,
Dainty.
okay? I may not be the most manliest man on the fucking block,
Not be and because you're not driving around in a giant truck with scrotum hanging off the tailgate.
Yeah, exactly. But like, don't think I'm dainty.
I don't know about dainty. You're reserved. I mean, relatively speaking.
Delicate. Yeah, right. Yeah, relatively speaking. So,
So is this foot looking better yet?
I think so, man. You got the depth of the shadow in between the toes there.
Starting to. Now
Really
I'm going to paint all over it. It's only 4 toes.
I think he's got frostbite.
Yeah, I kind of want to make this toe just a smidge bigger. In some crazy way. And that looks like a huge big, like a big blotchy mess.
Yeah.
Like he's got some problems there. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. It's
Got
not a big
bunion.
deal.
Got bunion.
We're just going to sort of use that midnight blue to sort of cage it in.
You Bob Ross that toe. Make
I
those
don't know
little
about that.
happy dots. Make them in
What
happy
exactly
dots.
does it mean to Bob Ross that toe?
I think that is a Justin Delis original. It means to
It doesn't
be.
look good from this angle. Here's
It
what I'm going
means
to
to
do.
be extremely delicate in a light in a way that seems too perfect for this world. That's what it means.
Jesus. Sure, why not just hit it with some orange on this side? Screw it. Yeah, it actually helped. But here's what's really going to help. We're going to go in here and grab our Asmodeus red. Right? Kind of a light glaze of it. Hopefully it's a light glaze. No?
Yeah.
I'm just going to sort of put some flesh into those toes. And then we'll highlight after the fact.
I will say, when you taught me that red glaze blood trick for the skin,
Helps flesh it out, man.
I'm still like, I'm still
Somewhere
trying
along the
to,
line, I loaded up just a boatload of rosy shadow on the end of that brush.
still trying to figure out how to execute that cleanly because I feel like when I do it, it just really overdoes the red.
Just less water. So right now, it was a lot on there. I went and
Less
grabbed more
water.
water on the brush from my spongerkin.
Yeah, I think that toe. I mean, sorry, that foot looks a lot better now. And
It's
actually,
starting to.
freehanding that big toe was a huge success.
I mean, it was successful enough. So right now, it's all died down and all. But what that did was put some flesh into the toe. Now I'm going to come back with my rosy shadow. And we're going to highlight proper. Do some proper highlighting.
There you go.
It's something.
I think that looks great.
It's something. I'm going more with some Asmodeus red, and I'm just going to focus right here, actually, on the other side.
Smodius.
Go. Just trying to take it back a notch. Only going to take it down a notch. With some midnight blue. Further back now. Coming around the side. Up, uppity up. Oh, what you gonna do, buddy? Especially when I break out that clear phthalo green and come in here and play with some skin.
Oh, jeez, really?
Like, it's middle of the night. It's time to go to bed.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I meant like,
Also, just because I talk to you, whoever's on the stream, I mean, don't feel like you know you're forced to stick around because I'm obligated. I know it's the middle of the night. It's okay. But thank you for
hey,
watching. I appreciate it.
hey, you know what?
That's why
Maybe
I'm doing this.
if they're West Coast, it's just the beginning of the night.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, maybe this. I'm prime time, buddy.
Yeah,
Prime
no,
time.
no problem.
It's prime time somewhere.
Or if they're Russian, they can do a whole different ball game.
Oh, look at that little hair. There we go. Got it. Got it. Okay. Back to the toes. Back onwards to toes.
I have a feeling you have a toe fetish or a foot fetish, man.
Say what?
You have a foot fetish?
No, I mean, I'm working these toes, dude. I'm telling you, man, I
Or
usually try to avoid them.
you mean bare feet, like in terms of on miniatures?
No, I mean, like, they were the worst painted part of the miniature.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I hear you.
Obviously, I was like, toes. Okay, close enough. I'm done. Right? But in all actuality, I should spend almost as much time as I do on a face, almost, you know?
Yeah, I think it's looking great though. And I will say this foot, it's looking a lot better actually. I think than the other foot. Looking at it.
Whoa. Don't say
Yeah,
that. I can't get.
yeah.
But you got to
That's
see. I
a,
mean, well, yeah. Okay, so
try that for a little bit of mindfuckery, huh?
yeah, I'm screwed. Okay, so here we go. Gonna break open that old golden blonde. That's if you had a wet palette, that would be. Shut up. I use a dry palette. I like my dry palette.
I will say though that I feel like for Christmas or for your birthday, I need to buy you a at least a palette that like because that foam board man sucks the paint. You know,
I
it was
found that if you like, it does until you have paint on it. So
oh
you can always just
you spray paint it.
you can just primer it. Yeah,
Oh, there you go. Okay, all right, there you go. Never mind then.
yeah.
I
Although it would
like
be nice, I thought about getting like actual wood pieces, paint on the wood, right? And
yeah, I
then
think that'd be pretty cool.
at some point in time, I'm going to frame all these things as like abstract art, do a whole show.
Be cool when you have like a proper studio environment or whatever. You could just like hang them up in your studio.
Hell yeah. Hells to the yeah, I'm down with that. Well, well,
Well.
what are we going to do with this clear phthalo green? Let's play with it though,
Man,
huh?
I can't even begin to imagine what more you can do. You're you're in the fourth dimension now. You're in the quantum realm.
There it is on the palette. Just got to find a spot. So I kind of want to see what will happen if I put it in the face a little bit.
Oh my god.
I don't know whether
I'm afraid you're gonna ruin it.
that's. I know. I'm gonna go right for the shadows though. Right for the edge. That's barely noticeable. More in there. I know you get a big kick out of that. I'm afraid you're gonna ruin it. Hilarious.
You're a brave man.
I am gonna dial it back a notch. I just want a little bit in there. Just playing around.
I can
Also,
see a little.
just a little. Just a little
Yeah, I
bit.
can see it. I can see it. It's
Whatever.
working out well.
Sure. Let's go over here.
How much water's on your brush right now?
Very little.
I feel like that's like the most common question I ask you.
Yeah, I mean that's an important question, honestly. I guess maybe there's
Yeah.
more than I don't know. I'm trying to apply some. There we go. A little bit. Do this one too. No, just a bunch of water on there. Now just push it around a little bit. Hopefully didn't muddy them up. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Here is a place where I want to do a little bit more of that on there. Is along with staff on this side.
Oh, get that shadow green going on.
Mm-hmm. Just on the inside of that.
Wow, yeah.
Just a little bit. I could bring it down more too. Let's start from the bottom here.
I remember when we were talking about these clear colors. Um, Maybe it's just because I'm ignorant or whatever, but it never even began to even imagine that clear colors could be a great way for a glaze.
Oh
I just thought
yeah.
they were. I thought
They
they were
all
mostly used for those translucent like parts that you get like on a gem or a staff or something like that, just to maintain its translucentness. You know,
no, think about using them as a mix with regular paints too. To thin like a flow improver kind of, you know.
what would that? What would the result be then at that point?
Just like you're thinning out a paint, you know.
But you're also adding that pigment of whatever that clear color is, the red or the green or whatever.
Mm.
So if you're the kind of mix phthalo green and with golden blonde, you would end up having a little bit of green in your golden blonde, right?
Sure, yeah, for sure. But I mean, that's what I'm saying is that like you using it as a medium, you know.
Right.
Just grabbing some of this Cavalier orange. Put that right next to. That's just kind of like a light glaze. I just want to influence the colors over here with it.
Looking good, man.
Yep, I'm getting happy. Getting happy. Midnight blue here. I'm coming up from the base. More at the base here. Just trying to
So like
just trying to deepen it down there a little bit.
for the uninitiated, uninformed, what's like what is your prerogative right now? Like, if we wanted to channel this energy in the final stages of our mini, like kind of like what's your eye doing? What are you focusing on? What are you thinking about? What's your prerogative?
Right now, it's so when we paint miniatures, it's easy, especially transitioning from doing like old school work to the like painterly style work stuff.
Right,
It's differentiating that this is more than just he's holding a stick, right? It's in a space. It's getting influenced by things, right? And that's
right,
so it's making sure that it's interesting to look at. It's not just let's paint this thing brown, let's put some highlights on it. There's more to that, you know.
right,
The
right.
idea that Yeah, it looks like this from here, and that has a bunch of contrast against him right now.
Sure.
And same thing, here a little bit. But as you can see, like there's from this angle, it mixes in with his tones a little bit too much. So maybe I need something to differentiate it on this side. At the same time, like I have this purple light on that side that's not on the stick. So now, thinking, well, what do I gotta do? What do I gotta do to change that? Do that a little bit of purple, and we're gonna shadow it.
Right.
Try to get to pop. It's just, for me, like there's a multitude of things left to do on this piece. At some point in time, we just gotta say, okay, it's all done. But
It's
the thing is like there's always like I'm always seeing it from a fresh perspective. Every single time I turn it, and sometimes I get lost or squirrel away into some part of it.
yeah. Now I see you're frightening me here. You're dropping some purple truth on this. Looks like you're doing a pretty light purple glaze there or
Oh
something.
yeah, super light purple glaze, and it's almost like a fuchsia. This purple, this Pharasma purple, and actually it came out kind of watery, and I'm okay with that. I probably shouldn't be doing that to my paints because I'm slowly taking out the flow. But I'm like, if I don't shake them up all the way, they go on pretty smooth. So I'm just trying to get that all to sort of mix in. There we go. So from this perspective, hey, great, you get your natural color tones. From this perspective, it gets more purpley a little bit, you know. And then over here, you got the oranges and the greens that are coming out. The greens might be a little heavy-handed, but so right now I'm just going to go tap in some of that purple down here because I feel like I could use it right there.
Man,
And right here, try not to go over anything else, just to get it out to come out a little bit more.
the amount that you're adding is just such a small amount to the point where, like, I don't know if my eye would have picked up on this at all.
Oh, but it does though. It does because you see it now and you're like, oh, it's so much better. Right? Because it is. It's clearly so much better. It pops so much better. There's so much more color in it too. So like
Absolutely.
here. And it's just such a small amount of paint that it would change so much.
Absolutely.
Such a small amount of paint. Yeah. Oh, look here. Nasty. Some nasty stuff going on down there.
You mean,
There we go.
what did you do to that?
Just put a little bit of that same purple on the hood as like a shadow color on that side. It's like the fringe shadow color,
I see.
kinda.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's the ambient. That's the shadows cast from the orange light. If that makes any sense.
Yep.
Or whatever.
Not much going on here, man.
What would that be like, huh? What would that purple be like then? Down deep in here. Just a little bit. Meh.
Meh.
It's okay. But I'm not gonna keep it.
What do you mean?
Oh, what happened here? What happened up here in the book? Honestly, that looks kind of cool. It looks like there's a little rip or something in the book.
What?
Here,
You?
something happened.
Oh.
I
Oh
touched it.
yeah.
But you know what? It kind of looks good. I kind of like it.
Yeah, it shows like
Character.
some
Gives a character.
character. Yeah, exactly. It's a book,
All right.
leather or cloth or whatever it is.
Going back for that clear phthalo. I'm gonna go right onto the belt buckle. Right in the middle.
Dog's belt buckle.
What'd you say?
I'm just joking around.
Puckering?
Oh yeah, I love puckering too. If I was joking around.
I'm just putting that green in there to kind of differentiate a little bit. I'm going to get a clean brush and just sort of move that around, kind of blend it a little bit there. A little here, a little there. It never fails, never stops. Where else could I put the green? More green. I see where.
Where are you looking?
Right in the middle.
Oh jeez. In the crotchal region.
Yeah, just a little bit. Like the amount that I'm adding here is very extremely minuscule. I kind of want to put some in these lines. Oh, that's kind of working out a little bit. There we go. Hey, hey, hey! Here's a fun place for it.
Where?
You're gonna like this.
Oh jeez.
That's good fun.
Oh man.
Just a little bit in there. I know you like that. It's funny. There's like barely, and you're like, oh.
It is the truth though.
It's the spot to put it though. Okay. A little bit more. Dear God, there's something wrong with me.
Dear God, what?
There's something wrong with me.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm still painting.
This is where I would challenge you,
Yeah.
devil's advocate style, to be like, tell me what's going on.
What do you mean?
Like, do you feel like, do you feel like well, are you, wow. Okay, never mind. Let
Now
me
there's
say
always
both.
more to do, dude. That's what I'm saying. Always more to do. Like I should probably go in with a black right there. You're black. I mean, it's already better than earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've added some really nice things to this that just make it look nice,
Just a little bit nicer, yeah.
a little bit nicer.
Yep. Clean brush, slightly damp, and I'm just going to be moving some paint around. Go. Okay, I think. Oh, stop the top of the staff there. I honestly don't know what to do with that.
Oh, the black? I kept wondering what you're doing with that.
Right?
I
Well,
mean, it kind of looks kind of cool just because it's a stark contrast, but at the
yeah.
same time, I know the light would be heavy upon that. I guess depending if it's a 12 o'clock light or whatever, you know.
I'm gonna try to just basically texture it a little bit. I screwed that up though. Catch it in time. Just rub it off. Good as new.
Good as new.
Well, not quite, because I still have that. People were like, "Oh, I'm afraid to do textury stuff or whatever." You know how easy it is to put a black dot and all that stuff that's on there.
Well, I don't think it's so much the technique so much as the eye.
Mm, there you go again. You're just feeding
It's the
um,
truth, though. I mean, really,
my ego, my overly sized ego.
the cross hatching is not that difficult of a painting technique, all things considered. But what it comes down to is the execution of it in the eye. I mean, um, that's just
I appreciate it. Honestly, I really do. I appreciate the. A lot of people really are into this, and that's kind of why I'm still working on. But at the same
uh,
time, um, I could have stopped, and everybody would have still said, "Oh, that's still a great piece." But I'm not out for that necessarily. I'm just exploring, just trying to take it to the next level where
yeah.
possible. I
I think
still
it's
don't necessarily like that end. It's a little much. So what I'm going to do is take some earth brown here, and we're just going to grab some moisture on that brush. I'm just going to paint that whole area with that moist brush. Basically, it's like a glaze now. That's a little bit better. And so now we got some extra tone in there. We'll come back with a highlight. So I just wanted to dial it down a notch and decrease the contrast between the black um and the white or the golden blonde tips. Get you guys to see this better. Run this way. Maybe. Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, close enough it is. Justin, I just want to thank you for staying up in the middle of the night painting
Oh,
miniatures with me.
no, I'm not painting. I'm watching.
I
I
hope you're gaining some insights.
absolutely. I think like I've said time and time again, like it's obviously the most helpful to actually watch, to sit next to you and show me stuff. But this is
Hmm.
invaluable in and of itself, and
Just keep pushing.
just keep pushing.
So here we are with some golden blonde. Just gonna stipple. Little gentle stipples.
Little happy clouds, Bob Ross would say.
Little gentle stipples. Too much. So I'm just using a clean brush, just a clean, slightly damp brush, just to take that down a notch. And now, even though the surface is a little bit moist, I don't really care. Honestly, it's fine.
It definitely doesn't like outrageously stand out as a blooper though, so that's good.
There's still that kind of a blotch there. I don't like. Just trying to bring it out just a little bit more. There we go. There we go. I have to be careful here. I don't want this thing to appear shiny. I want it
How
to
do you
appear
oh
like cracked though.
yeah, but I feel like I don't think you've hit that territory yet, in my humble opinion.
Oh,
I get your concern. Trust me. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's all about the hot. You can get. I don't want to train. I don't want people to. I mean, you want them to think a certain way. You want them to see it a certain way. So they have to take into account, the reality of the situation.
Mhm, for sure. Oh, show.
You're almost done here, though. Also, I feel it. I feel it coming.
Feel like coming a little bit.
A little bit. Get some moisture on that. That's so dry. Yeah, I'm just kind of moving paint around. Hmm, too much. There we go. No, it's pretty nice actually.
I'm digging it.
I'm digging it. Back in the golden blonde. I'm seeing another spot, and I'm just gonna tap against this like an edge highlight kind of.
But
More towards the bottom, less towards the top. Off the axis. There we go. Whip, whip, whip. That got away from me. Clean wet brush. And fix.
good man.
We're good. We are good. Super good. Let's hit this other side. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
What?
Damn it.
What?
Switching into the 3-0 detailer.
It's a little too heavy, huh?
No. We have a problem. We have some rogue bag over here that hasn't been highlighted.
Oh man. How dare you?
Yeah, it was simple enough to just take care of. Although the bag looks a little janked. Come down here. And then what I'm going to do is kind of wipe. Oh, I see. Still got some midnight blue here. There we go. Maybe a little bit more up here. Try to fix my hurried mess. There we go. Just a little something. Just
Yeah, absolutely.
because I'm getting a little sloppy though.
starting
So I guess to answer your question that you keep on asking is, when do you say, all right, all done? When you start getting sloppy.
That's not to say when you start doubting your skills.
It's not that. It's you start rushing. You know.
Start rushing, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Because
feeling
like,
kind of antsy, like you just feel like you're emotionally over with it.
no, yeah. I mean, sometimes there's that. But also sometimes it's just about like, oh hey, look, here's this contrast that needs to happen right here because you can't see that, you know?
Sure. Right.
So sometimes it's just about that. I think that's really it.
I think this is one
Um,
of my favorite things you've done.
oh,
And you've done a lot of incredible things. I mean, I'm
my
talking about
goal
maybe.
is my goal is to do that almost with every miniature,
God damn.
right? So like that's how you improve, right? So if I can do that again, then I succeed in
Right.
my conquest of miniatures, right? If I can
Right.
do that every single time, then I'm winning. I
Right,
feel like
Charlie Sheen.
I still wasn't done.
You know.
Look, I'm highlighting the stones.
Oh wow.
So they needed it. Sure did. These ones too. You don't have to be too careful. Just trying to get them to pop a little bit.
I would say the whole miniature of the whole really just popped.
Yeah, that's been my goal, is to try to get my stuff to pop a whole lot more. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
think about, how a lot of people, they take pictures of their miniatures and they start tweaking them in the camera settings or whatever, right? The pictures.
Yeah.
And the idea is that, like, they're trying to make it look better because of the light, and that I do that often. I try to correct for the light all the time. But in doing so, you start toying around. You start seeing, oh yeah, up the contrast, all this other stuff, and there's some sweet spots there where you're like, oh, that actually looks really good. I like that. But I would never, you would never do that. Yeah, you never. Oh look, I painted this miniature. Here, tweak the contrast. Ah, that looks great. Everybody's like, oh, it looks super good.
Well,
Or what you could do is use that as a reference for where you should be painting or how you should be painting. You know what I mean?
right. Right.
Like more
Because
so.
the minute you put it underneath a light, it's going to create a shadow under the book or under the chin or whatever.
Right.
And then you up the contrast, it's going to deepen those shadows. And suddenly it looks a lot better because you have that depth to it.
Right.
And what you're basically saying is you should have just done that from the get go.
Probably. Kinda, yeah. So let's go ahead and take a look. We'll zoom me back there. There we go. There is one other thing I wouldn't mind doing right now. Believe it or not. I'm not going to. I might do it in the morning and then take some pictures. I would
Right.
go back in after I put those shadow colors in on that wood. I'd go back in and reinforce the highlights a little bit.
Sure.
Right there. And
Right.
some down in there. And actually, it'll help those highlights pop a little bit more too. But this
Makes
is
sense.
definitely now in the range of very done. This looks
I
good.
think so.
It looks
I
good,
think
man. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. I don't mind. I gotta feel all right about saying that my own stuff looks good because I gotta calm my butt down with this nonsense.
I think it's fantastic, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have absurd expectations for myself. I have no expectations for anybody else, right? But I have
Yeah,
absurd expectations for myself. Maybe
I
even
hear you.
some would say unrealistic.
Yeah, I mean, I think those high expectations are nice because they give you the push to be better.
Yeah.
But I mean, like all of us, you gotta respect where you gotta be happy with where you're at now. Because I think this is just fantastic. This really is.
Thank you. Yeah, it's some of my best work so far, I think. I'm definitely getting in that where I want to be.
The groove.
The groove. I'm finding the groove that I've been searching for. So now it's just a matter of playing around with that groove.
I hear
Right.
you.
Right. So also this new camera is great. Look, you can actually see me in all my colors, my
Yeah,
beards, my hairs. So
all the colors.
alrighty guys. I want to thank everybody for joining me, or the one person. You're awesome.
The people who watch it later too.
It's super. It's way past my bedtime. And I got to tinkle. So with that note, hope everybody has a good night. Justin, thanks again for joining me.
Thank you.
And check out my Facebook page. I'll post the some finished pics on there. Some finished pics. I haven't done finished pics in like forever, but I'll post the approximate finished pics there. And I'll post them on the community page here too. And hopefully we'll be back again with another MiniGrinder Paints live episode this week. I don't know when. I don't know if it's tomorrow or Friday. Maybe I should come up with a regular time. I ain't that regular though, so
Uh,
that's how it goes.
yeah.
All right, guys.